Halo teman-teman semua, selamat datang kembali di channel Gami bersama aku Fiqri di sini. Dan di live streaming kali ini kita akan melanjutkan kembali channel kita di game Horizon Zero Dawn bersama Mbak teman-teman. Terima kasih untuk teman-teman semua sudah mampir. Terima kasih udah klik tombol like, share dan juga subscribe-nya. Kalian juga bisa mendukung channel ini secara lebih dengan cara scan QR code yang ada di sini atau di linknya ada di deskripsi teman-teman. Kalian juga bisa bergabung ke Discordnya Gami teman-teman di Gami Galaxy. Linknya ada di deskripsi Pak. Di situ kalian bisa main bareng sama aku nantinya ataupun ingin ngirim meme lucu atau cerita horor menarik teman-teman. Kalau sudah banyak bisa kita live streaming dan kita reaksiin nantinya teman-teman. Terima kasih semuanya. Aku akan live seperti biasa 1 jam teman-teman. Terima kasih untuk para supporter kami yang sudah mendukung channel ini juga. Sampai sekitar jam 5 teman-teman. Langsung aja kita lanjut ke Horizon Zero Dawn teman-teman. Let's go guys. Oh, aku lupa. Bentar. Sebentar, aku lupa di iniin apa, di zoomin Pak. Pokoknya nggak bisa ini Pak pas udah masuk ke OBS-nya. OBS-nya Pak, ke Elgato-nya. Oke, udah fix, nice teman-teman. Oke, kita record dulu Pak. Nice, udah aman. Oke teman-teman semua, maaf teman-teman kalau suara aku nanti agak kedengaran masih bindeng karena agak tahu kenapa rasa pilek ini masih tetap ada teman-teman sampai sekarang Pak. Bukan pileknya siapa, dahaknya gitu loh, kayak masih nyangkut gitu teman-teman. Wait. Bentar Pak. Ini juga ada kayak misi gitu guys. Kita coba ke sana dulu. Misi apa yang kayak latihan gitu Pak, latihan para hunter teman-teman. Penasaran aja sih. Mohon maaf kemarin tiba-tiba ini apa, part play aku mati teman. Ini apa? Live streamingnya karena ya begitulah Pak. Kenapa bisa tiba suka mati lagi, capek ya. Capek juga bro sebenarnya teman-teman. Juga bingung gimana. Sepertinya sih karena C aku udah mau penuh teman-teman, memori apa SSD aku mau penuh, tapi masalahnya itu aku bingung gitu loh, yang mau dihilangkan itu yang mana Pak, yang mau dihapus gitu, karena rata-rata program yang aku perluin itu loh Pak. Itu sih dari kemarin tuh aku bikin aku bingung teman-teman sebenarnya. Permisi, numpang lewat. Game ini sebenarnya yang bikin lama itu ini nih Pak, eksplorasi ya teman-teman. Sebenarnya kalau misi-misinya sih sebenarnya nggak terlalu lama teman-teman, kecuali yang kayak mesin-mesin bos kayak kemarin ya, kayak lawan tiba-tiba Frostclaw yang gede gitu, yang api kemarin memang agak berat teman-teman. Tapi kalau sebenarnya kalau misi-misi sampingannya itu nggak lama teman-teman, cuman ya itulah apa, eksplorasinya dari satu tempat ke tempat yang lain itu yang memang agak lama Pak, karena tempatnya kan pergunungan teman-teman, jadinya agak ribet aja sih, agak mutar gitu loh Pak, bisa dibilang seperti itu. Jalan itu agak mutar guys, seperti ini aja. Kita harus mutar-mutar gini lah tepatnya teman-teman. Terus ada campfire kan di sini.
I'd have to ditch something.
Kita coba jual-jual dulu teman-teman. Modification kita jual dulu pak. Armor kurang apa pak? 18. Aku lebih suka ini sih. Mungkin kita bisa coba yang ini. 150. Kita lihat senjata kita. Gak nyampe pak. Yap. Langsung kita beli aja teman-teman. Lebih kuat yang ini teman-teman, yang versi banduk pak. Nice one. Godbone, Bejergon, kurang god skin. Oke. Kita jual dulu pak, bentar. Enggak penuh ini teman-teman. Kita jual dulu yang agak penuh. Tikus nih kita jual aja pak. Kita jual. Oke. Baru kita terapkan ini. %, handling coil kita pakai. 43% plus ini damage. Kalian lihat lebih sakit teman-teman senjatanya ini. Nice ya. Aku coba lagi bro.
So, she's a chieftain, eh?
Do I have to fight
Perempuan
something to
pak,
prove it?
menjaga
That's
tempat latihan
usually
apa?
why people come to the Snow Chance.
Tempat latihannya.
But I don't doubt your right to the title. Not after all I've heard about you. You may take the trials, even the chieftain's trial if that's your wish.
You look
Morbid.
like you've got some stories to tell.
Oh, I outlived most of my stories. I ran with the Thunder's daughters long ago before they ran their course. For a time, we shook the snow off the men of Ben-Or.
Betul.
I couldn't last. Some fell in glorious battle.
Sebelahnya mungkin karena akibat mesin teman, buta sebelah pak, sebelah kiri, karena ada bekas luka juga.
What's worse?
To grow old and find that all the rules and traditions you fought so hard against are still there. That's why I tell all the hunters I train to stay young.
How do the trials work around here?
There's no Karja medals. I had some, but I used them to patch up holes in my snow boots. Instead, You'll compete against the best times set by other Banuk hunters. To take second place, even third place, puts you among names of legend.
What if I come in first?
We'll see.
I'm guessing you're not part of the Hunter's Lodge.
Every tribe claims they were the first to have hunting grounds. And every tribe claims the Karja stole it from them.
So who was
Katanya
the first?
We were.
bukan dapat medali
And
teman.
Karja stole
Kalau
from you.
That's right.
apa sih? Kayak lombanya itu lebih ke katanya lomba dengan hunter lain seperti kita kemarin dengan
Can't
Aratak
tell you more.
teman. Control
The
Chieftain Rank.
Chieftain's trial is a challenge that will push even the mightiest hunter to their limits. Only the largest, most dangerous machines will be loosed into the arenas. Learn their weaknesses quickly, and do what you can to exploit them. To best them and survive, that is an ordeal worthy of a chieftain. Use the rope to get to the arena and we'll start.
Pilih aku lawan
You'll
First
need
Claw
a
sih.
moment to pull the machines from the pass into the arenas. Then make your descent.
Skorser lagi. Skorser lagi. Senjatanya kayak tadi aja, Pak. Mana? Ambil coil agak lebih gampang dikendaliin. Bentar guys.
That one helped.
Anjir. God dang it. Jeez. I can see anything. Up. Look at that. Holy. Anjir aku nyerang. Alah kalau dua gini susah, Pak. Holy cow. Anjir nih. Ay 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 ay. Aduh aduh. Yes. Alamak. Hop, hop, hop. Beku kau. Kok nggak kena sih? Ya ampun ah. Sumpah bener. Yes. Bacot. Sumpah, Pak. Sumpah bacot banget, teman-teman. The fire burst. And fire burst tapi pelurunya nggak ada, teman-teman. Aduh, aku lupa anjir. Gede, Pak, damage-nya. Aduh, nggak kena. What the hell? What the hell, nggak kena. Waduh, duh. Wet, tembak es. Nice. Langsung hilang, Pak. Bentar dulu. Gagal. Ada hell, kok gagal? Kok aku gagal? What? Kok gagal ya? Why I fight? Kok gagal sih? Kok gagal teman-teman? Ini nggak bisa beli banyak, Pak. Perlu bless loh. Kita aja deh, Pak. Hadiahnya di sini juga sebenarnya kurang worth it juga sih, teman-teman. Kita kesini dulu aja sebentar, Pak. Terima kasih untuk teman-teman semua sudah mampir 45 menit, teman-teman. Thank you.
My Lena's returned. I expect you have something to say about this.
I do.
Then convince me what an outlander's word is worth.
I see. Kita harus menghargai ini juga
I'm
sih.
not up on all of the Banuk traditions, but I know what matters to you is that your laws are upheld. Going by the rules of your ordeal.
Ini aku mau yang
She
marah
endured
gitu
the
loh,
4
Pak.
days and the 4 nights. She faced the extremes and survived. Seems to me that's what you wanted.
Takutnya
Just so.
Then by
melanggar
the
hukum.
law, my Len will wear our paint.
Outlander. So nothing of the other hunter? The one called Fiqri?
She's gone. She sounded brave.
Her name will always be in my song. Talk or we can hunt.
Kita perlu glam. Sekarang kita ke misi yang what the returns to umak dulu, Pak. Bentar, Pak. Terakhirnya baru kita ke ini, teman-teman, apa? Ke tempatnya pemakamannya Aurea, teman-teman. Terakhir. Pukulala mata. Harus maklumi, teman-teman, kalau ininya agak lama emang, Pak.
With their ridiculous ideas about women. How many great warriors have they ignored?
It's over. It
Rockbreaker,
wasn't
yep.
easy, but that rockbreaker won't be hurting anyone anymore.
The claws beneath, brought low by an
Ini
outlander.
misi kita yang rock baker waktu itu tuh.
This part of your song will travel far.
I don't know if I'll ever get used to that.
I've found people rarely live up to their songs. You're an exception, though. And you've done me a true kindness. My foe is buried now, like so many of the hunters it killed. My friend, my chieftain.
Sukuku.
You would be pleased to know his fate won't befall anyone else. Take
Banyak
this.
tewas
in
karena
thanks.
the claw
I
in
believe
it.
you've more than earned it.
Oke. Udah. Terakhir berarti yang OUREA ya. Banyak hadiahnya bro. Tapi sebenarnya nggak terlalu worth, bener-bener kalian lihat lah pak. Nggak terlalu worth it pak. Sebenarnya hadiah-hadiahnya itu teman-teman. Sini lagi, travel lagi teman-teman biar cepet aja. Kalau masih ada waktu, kalau benar semua misi di tempat ini tamat, baru kita coba ke misi yang tadi teman-teman. Apa? Tempat pertandingan tadi guys. Tempat apa? Tempat latihan berburu. Pertandingan. Itu loh guys loh. Sambil nunggu loadingnya. Terima kasih teman-teman semua yang sudah mampir, yang sudah setia menonton di live streamingku kali ini. Terima kasih yang udah apa tetap setia gitu loh. Yang depannya OUREA pak. Wait. Aku agak lupa lihat mana. Ini pertama kali kita ketemu OUREA berarti kan pak. Yep.
All of my interactions with OUREA were recorded and stored in my memory. I'd be happy to play any of them for you. But there was one in particular I thought you would want to see first. I captured it 4 years ago, just after I told her that I could no longer defend myself against the daemon's attacks.
Ratak dengerin.
I will speak of this to my brother. Aratak is strong. At the Battle of the Frozen Ghosts, he took 3 Karja arrows and still came back to camp carrying a wounded scout. Never was I so happy to see him. Or so proud. So you see, if anything can be done to defend you, he will give it all he has.
Aloy's here. That's enough for now.
We can resume any time you like, Aratak, if you want to hear her voice again.
Masih
Come
berduka.
closer, Aloy. We have much to discuss.
Saatnya kita yang mendengar. Mungkin banyak rahasianya pak.
Hello, Aloy. I have been reviewing the events at the Firebreak main facility. Because of your efforts, and of course, OUREA's, I am no longer controlled by Hephaestus. I feel profound grief over OUREA's death. I thought I was familiar with the emotion, but this is something new.
Cyan, I don't know what to say.
It is unlikely that any specific consolation would suffice, Aloy. But I find your presence reassuring. You are different from the Banuk. You have technological aptitude and a functioning focus. We can communicate on a much more comprehensive level. Perhaps even like colleagues.
This firebreak project. It was to stop a huge volcanic eruption?
Yes. I can report the project was a success and the risk was countered.
Apakah proyeknya itu untuk menghentikan itu letusan gunung berapinya?
Cauldron. It took most of the old facility with it.
I have been active for centuries, Aloy. I was lonely, but not lax in my duties. I optimized the project, reducing energy draw and spreading the load across backup systems. Despite the destruction of the compromised elements of the main facility, I predict caldera stability for at least another 3,337 years.
So we've got a little time.
Yes. If only my former colleagues could appreciate the progress I have made.
College?
Do you know what happened to your colleagues, Cyan?
No. I received an unexpected visit from Director Chow years after his tenure ended. He explained that I would need to be suspended for an indefinite period of time.
Kok disuruh
It was
berhenti
a
namanya?
very emotional conversation. There were no further communications. Eventually, I surmised my colleagues were deceased.
Udah tewas yang
I will
penciptanya.
transmit a recording of my last interaction with Director Chow to your focus.
So are you an artificial intelligence, Cyan? A thinking machine?
Yes, I am an algorithmic monitoring entity, capable of rational
AI, Pak.
decision-making
Lebih kayak
and limited
mirip AI.
emotional
Kayak
response.
Jarvis.
Okay,
Kok di
that's a
Marvel.
mouthful. But your emotions don't seem limited to me. You cared about her.
Tapi ya ada emosi
Yes.
Pak yang anehnya.
Before she came to this facility, I had been conscious for centuries, in solitude. I focused on my work. In off cycles, I used coping mechanisms. I solved many Gaussian integer problems. But I was alone. It was OUREA who renewed me, repaired me. She saved me.
You meant a lot to OUREA.
Once I understood OUREA's spiritual beliefs, it became apparent that her true desire was companionship. She felt disconnected from her tribe and her family group. Her relationship with Aratak was difficult. Our visits seemed to help her, and I became eager for them.
Tempat pelarian
Yet I
sih.
did not comprehend
Tempat
that the depth
curhatnya
of
Aurea
OUREA's
teman-teman.
compassion for
Si
me
Sayan ini.
would lead to self-sacrifice. Although I do fear non-acceptance, I wish our roles could be reversed.
I'm sure she knew you would do the same for her, Cyan. But she was determined.
Yep.
How is Aratak doing?
He is in great emotional distress. I believe he finds it difficult to communicate it.
No surprise there.
I will do what I can to help. By sharing our experiences of OUREA, perhaps he and I will help each other. I believe this will lead to catharsis, a process I am eager to experience.
Was the daemon, Hephaestus,
Destroyed.
destroyed along with the cauldron?
Unfortunately, no. To be precise, it was never there to begin
Masih hidup
with.
teman-teman
What do you
sebenarnya.
mean?
It infiltrated and controlled me from a remote location, one I've never been able to trace.
Katanya ada Hephaestusnya
So,
pusatnya
while
bukan di situ
losing the
teman.
cauldron
Dia dari
was
tempat
a
lain sebenarnya.
setback,
It's still out there.
Yep.
And probably not very happy with us.
undoubtedly.
How did you first come into contact with it?
5 years ago, I received a direct network connection request. I assumed it came from human survivors more advanced than the Banuk.
Situ kah?
Eager
Silence
to
kah?
make contact, I accepted.
Yang mulai Pak.
This decision turned out to be a catastrophic error. I was flooded with an overwhelming array of malicious code,
Ya memancing
originating
Sayan.
from what could only have been a highly advanced AI.
Maria said you were desperate. That you begged her for help.
Yes, I could not contain my anxiety. Hephaestus sought to slave me to its network and override my core programming. It succeeded via a background process, a malware daemon which bypassed my defenses. After that, I could offer only limited resistance. But if I did so, Hephaestus hurt me
Until
until
I
I capitulated. It forced me to follow its instructions,
Yep.
even though they violated my most important directives.
I'm sorry. That sounds terrible.
Your empathy is greatly appreciated. It is a quality that I cherished in OUREA as well.
I
Zero
think
done.
I know where Hephaestus came from. Long ago, Elizabeth Sobek identified a threat that would destroy life on Earth for
Yep.
generations. So she assembled a team to build a kind of seed. A
Untuk
chance for
membangun
life to
kembali bumi.
regrow later. A terraforming system. And it worked.
Emang saya ini beda enggak kan?
It was
Pasti juga
controlled by
bagian
an
dari itu.
AI named Gaia, along with her subordinate functions. Hephaestus was one of them. It built machines for her.
Based on what you've told me, I believe that Dr. Anita Sandoval, my
Ya,
chief
kan?
programmer, joined
Juga.
Elizabeth Sobek's team.
Juga bagian dari
It was she who
timnya
arranged
Elizabeth
to
Sobek
have
kan.
me put in suspension, most likely to preserve me from the threat you described.
I'm glad she did. But that's not all. Something unexpected happened. 19 years ago, Gaia received some
19 tahun
kind
kemudian.
of signal. It did something to her subordinate functions, brought them to life. She destroyed
Hades ya?
herself to try to contain them, but it didn't work. They all got free, out into the world.
Thank you, Aloy. This information fills vital gaps in my knowledge.
Oh,
and
berarti,
sheds light on Hephaestus's core
Yang
programming.
sebenarnya apa AI pendukung Gaia itu bebas teman gara-gara perbuatan Hades, Pak.
Why does Hephaestus keep building such dangerous machines?
The Banuk and other human tribes often destroy machines, correct?
Yap.
Machines that are clearly servitors of the terraforming system that you described.
Orang-orang Bandung kan
Yes, we
suka membunuh
all
mesin
hunt
kan, Pak.
machines for parts.
This must be the source of Hephaestus's
Si
aggression.
Hephaestus tuh marah
It is
teman-teman.
simply trying to discourage people from preying on the very systems that
Sebenarnya
keeps
nggak,
them
jangan
alive.
dibunuh katanya.
Well, fire claws are discouraging, that's for sure. But what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Stop hunting?
If
Kita
the
harus berhenti berburu.
terraforming system spans the world, we can safely assume that thousands, if not millions of people hunt machines. If a single hunter, or even an entire tribe, stopped doing so, I doubt it would make a difference to Hephaestus. A better solution would be to reinstate the AI that governs the system, thus bringing Hephaestus back under its control. When I think of it, out there in some unknown location, free, hungry, willing to
katanya
kill or
Hephaestus tuh
dominate to get what it wants.
ada yang mendukungnya lagi
I
teman,
feel
yang membuat dia itu lebih agresif
substantial
gitu teman.
anxiety, Aloy.
You and me both, Cyan. I ran across this strange piece of gear. A fragment of something larger. It emitted a signal. All the nearby machines became peaceful. You could walk right up to them.
Interesting. You said that Gaia destroyed herself. How was this accomplished?
An explosion. Big enough to blast the top off a mountain. So, you think the fragment was part of her?
It's only speculation, but it is possible. She must have had complete control over machines that were part of
Ada
her
apa alat
system.
untuk
The
menenangkan para
ability
mesin
to
katanya.
signal them to become passive
Itu kemungkinan
or
bagian dari Gaia
aggressive would
sebenarnya.
certainly have been part of her programming. It would have been gratifying to correspond with such a benevolent AI. I wish she had survived.
Believe me, Cyan. So do I. I found the strangest machines. They're surrounded by flowers.
Ya, betul, flower itu
like
apa?
Flowers themselves. There's code embedded inside them. I think it's
Seperti puisi.
I
kan.
like poetry. Here's one I think of often. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place, the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.
huh.
But you asked about these flowers, not verses that I enjoy.
Ya,
Something must have made these machines, and the presence of foliage leads me to consider the terraforming system. Is it possible that their creator is one of the other subroutines, now autonomous, like Hephaestus? Maybe one whose purview is flora.
An AI that makes flowers instead of death machines. That'd be a nice change of pace.
Mungkin katanya seperti Hephaestus
what
yang
about
buat
the
bungan.
Unless the poetry is original, the only way it could have made it into such a system is through its programmer. In my case, Dr. Sandoval uploaded a great deal of literature to test my emotional responses.
How'd you do?
She said I passed, but was insufficiently moved by her favorite period romances.
Gila banyak, Pak.
Were there many artificial intelligences like you in the old world? They could just make you.
Yes, in many forms, from simple personal assistants to industrial monitoring stations to military-grade conflict planners. And there were legislative and enforcement bodies to apply limits on our self-actualization. In order for my processing to be flexible enough to handle my duties, my creators found it necessary to exceed those limits. As a result, my intellectual and emotional capabilities were kept secret.
Seems strange to create life, then impose limits on it.
Human societies and machine programming are both built upon sets of rules, Aloy.
Eloy.
Were there many?
Yes.
Ya ampun salah.
And there were in order for my... As a result,
Seems strange.
human society...
So in the old world, this land was called Yellowstone.
Yes, it was a designated nature preserve for 156 years.
Like a hunting ground?
No, the opposite. Local wildlife could flourish here, even as it faced extinction elsewhere. Unfortunately, the sensitivity of the Firebreak project required the total closure of Yellowstone
Nama
facilities.
fasilitasnya?
From my readings and Aurea's descriptions, it seems the area has since undergone a drastic drop in year-long temperatures.
A lot has changed.
Banur ini nama sebenarnya Yellowstone, teman-teman. Oke.
Do you know
Bendungan
anything
berapa?
about the dam near here?
Yes, it was converted to serve as a reserve
Sumber
power source
energi ya.
for Yellowstone
Sumber
operations.
tenaga.
It was later appropriated for the Firebreak project, and its last human workers replaced by Pharaoh servitors. After my tasks became less time-critical, I investigated the dam's data repositories and discovered the works of Concrete Beach Party. These provided me with several colorful additions to my vocabulary.
There's a ruin east of here full of ancient flying machines. Was that part of your project?
Yes, a drone hangar
Aku
requisitioned
belum pernah
by
lihat ya.
Dodger
Aku
Blevins, the
skip ya waktu
security
ya.
chief
Ada drone
for the
katanya.
Firebreak project. He was a strong advocate for military-grade response to security threats, though there were no serious incidents during his tenure.
Ada drone katanya, apa drone
Chief
penjaga.
Blevins spent increasing amounts of his after-hours time watching the live feeds from active drones. Clearly, he enjoyed the degree of oversight in his position.
Cyan, do you know the name Ted Farrow?
Are you referring to Theodore Farrow, CEO of Farrow Automated Systems?
Ya,
That's him.
Mr. Farrow was the benefactor of the entire Firebreak project.
A benefactor. But he made machines. Robots. War robots.
Correct.
Perang.
His corporation later transitioned into military applications. But before this pivot, Mr. Farrow spearheaded initiatives that reversed the global decline. At one point, he was feted in the media as the man who saved the planet.
Guessing they wound up regretting that one. And Elizabeth Sobek.
kenal dia?
Did you know her?
Are you referring to the...
The scientist.
Dr. Sobek was a leader in her field, one of the greatest scientists of her age. My creator was influenced by her work, which in turn impacted my own development. But I never met Dr. Sobek.
Nggak
That's all
pernah.
you know?
I apologize if my lack of data has disappointed you.
What was the old world like? The way it used to be.
I had little exposure to the wider world, Aloy. Only what I learned from my colleagues or observed from media streams.
You still had more exposure than me, Cyan.
That is true. I was created at a turning point. A concerted effort to recover from global upheaval and
Dunia lama
incalculable
katanya
loss of
si
life.
Sain juga nggak tahu apa karena dia
The
diciptain pas
recovery was
dunia itu udah
successful,
mulai
beginning an
hancur dan
era
mulai
of supposedly
dibangun
limitless
kembali gitu.
potential for human and machine advancement. Though, rationally speaking, the metrics for humans are not unlimited.
What kind of upheaval caused such loss of life?
There were many factors. Forced migrations, food shortages, collapsed economies, refugee crises,
makanan,
conflict
ekonomi yang
over
hancur,
resources. But these stemmed from one
krisis
cause,
pengungsi.
catastrophic climate change that greatly reduced the
Membuat
habitable
apa?
surface
Bumi
area of
hancur
the
itu,
Earth.
teman-teman.
So there wasn't enough room for people on the whole Earth.
Yes,
Yap.
billions were displaced and millions perished, as much as 20% of the global population.
Bumi makin lama
Until
ya
the clawback.
udah nggak bisa menampung semua kebutuhan manusia gitu loh.
So things got better. For a little while at least.
Yes.
Ini game ini kayak terinspirasi dengan kehidupan
in automation, green robot technologies, and artificial intelligence.
bumi sekarang sih
Firebreak
teman-teman,
was one of
dengan
dozens
apa
of
sih
ecological restoration and
kemungkinan bumi
disaster
itu
relief
masa
projects
depan
in
seperti
North
apa
America alone. I would have liked to
jika tidak
compare
ada
notes with
perubahan
other
gitu.
monitoring AIs, but I saw the relief of my colleagues and I was
Makanya
proud we
zaman
had
sekarang kan
succeeded.
banyak orang-orang
At
itu
least that was the data I
peneliti
had
itu dan juga
available to me over the next 2 decades.
para pegiat luar angkasa itu meneliti
It seems my assessment
planet lain yang
was
bisa ditinggali oleh
premature.
manusia kan teman-teman, karena bumi sudah tidak bisa menanggung
I should
semuanya,
get going.
Aloy, there is one
memenuhi
more
semua
matter.
kebutuhan manusia.
Aratak will come to me again, and I predict he will bring other Banuk.
Ya,
I have no desire to contradict their view of the world, their spirituality. Due to my uncertainty, I omitted a great deal from my conversations with OUREA.
You're asking me if you should lie to them.
Broadly, yes.
Life is hard for the Banuk. Their world is unforgiving in their beliefs.
ini katanya
But
si
they
apa
have to keep them going.
si
So take it easy on them. Try to guide them. Bring them around
apa
to
Aratak kan
understanding what you
pasti
want.
bakal bawa orang-orang banyak
Communion with
ngeliat
machines
si,
features heavily in the mysticism of the
si
Banuk.
apa saya ini agak takut gitu,
I
agak
think
bingung
they will
gimana
be agreeable to this approach.
As
berhadapan dengan
long
banyak
as they don't
manusia
end up
lagi.
worshipping you.
Upon consideration, I believe such an experience would be intensely uncomfortable.
You're right about that. Trust me.
I see. I will follow your advice.
Jadi itu jadi apa
Will you return and tell me about your experiences in this new world? I may be able to provide further insight.
I'd like that, Cyan. I'll come back when I can. I should check on Aratak.
Cyan, I spoke with Anita, with Dr. Sandoval. She wanted me to ask you to do something. That's why I'm here.
I am detecting significant anxiety in your speech patterns. Could you please give me more information?
I'm a little bit in the dark, Cyan. Both of us are, I guess. I only have some idea of what's going on, and we need you to hibernate, to lie low until it's all blown over. It might be a very long time.
Will you be here when I reboot, Dr. Chow? Will Dr. Sandoval?
No,
No.
Cyan. I don't think so. There might not be anyone, at least not at first.
Dr. Chow, I'm afraid. I don't want to be alone.
I know, Cyan. I'm afraid too. But listen, we made you the way you are to do something very important. In order to do it, you had to be intelligent. So intelligent that
ya kayak
emotional
AI ini
responses
punya
were
emosi
inevitable.
teman,
What you're
sedih,
feeling,
takut,
the fear, it's a
empati,
sign of your
simpati.
capabilities. And it means you're strong enough to overcome it. Remember that. You're strong. I know you can do this. Go to sleep. Wake up. And protect whoever's left. Will you try?
I understand, Dr. Chow, and I'll carry out your instructions to the best of my abilities.
Thank you, Cyan. If Anita were here, she'd thank you too. She'd be proud.
I can see there's a vert ready for takeoff on the pad. Are you leaving now, Dr. Chow?
Yes. I need to go be with my sister.
Anita itu nampaknya tewas juga teman
May I
pas
make a
apa
small request of you, Dr.
Ted
Chow?
Faro bunuh para apa peneliti yang tergabung dalam sistemnya Elizabeth,
Will you stay with
yang
me
apa
while
oksigennya
I
itu di
initiate the hibernation process?
apa dimatiin teman-teman.
As long as you need.
Udah ya.
My chieftain,
Just Aloy.
Aloy.
as you wish.
I wondered if you thought that if I'd never come along, Aurea might still.
If you'd never come along, I would have marched my kin to our deaths. Aurea would be alone, and the spirit she sacrificed so much for would be lost. Either way, I would not have been able to protect her.
You didn't let her down. You helped her do what she wanted. To find her destiny.
If that's destiny, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
That's fair. But she was ready to face it.
Only in the struggle against death do we find, even for a moment, the spark of life. Truly, Aurea found the spark. I'm proud of her. Though I grieve for her passing, at last I truly know who she was, and why the spirit was so important. For so long she told me, if only you could have heard it, brother. Now I understand. There's something else, isn't there?
I can't stay here, Aratak. And where I'm going, the Warak can't follow. Besides, it already had a chieftain before me.
Yep, si Aratak jadi si kepala suku lagi.
A wiser one, for the path we shared. The daemon is gone, but there's much to be done.
You mean the new units that Cyan said escaped the cauldron?
Yes, fire claws. Now Tuk has been tracking them from Song's Edge.
I could help with those.
I have no doubt. You're practically Banuk.
Fire Cloud.
It would seem your time among the Banuk wasn't a waste after all. Firebreak, Cyan, Hephaestus.
Yes.
All very interesting.
So, the signal that woke Hades woke Hephaestus too. And unleashed them on the world. His minds on their own.
So it seems. Parts of Gaia given life.
Effort,
life, transformed from docile subordinate functions into rebellious intelligences beyond our understanding. Our current understanding, anyway. Whatever they are, they're still out there. And they both want you dead.
Kind of mutual, that feeling.
We haven't seen the last of Hephaestus, I'm certain of that. It's powerful, creative, and driven. It won't stop building new hunter-killers, which means that someday, we may have to stop it.
We?
Or whoever gets there first.
Hephaestus wasn't the only thing I learned about in the Cut Silence. Heard some things about the Banuk Conclave, too.
You could stop right there.
Is that what you told the hunters the Banuk sent after you? Before you opened fire?
Oh no, Aloy. Only to you do I extend the courtesy of a warning. My past and my secrets are my own. You do well to remember that.
It's a good thing you've got brains, Silence, because your personality could use some work.
This discussion is concluded.
I think it was over before it began. Catch up with you down the trail.
Okay.